Alright fellas, here we're back on Pokemon Masters, and today we're going to be reviewing the Master BP Sync Pair, the main character and Registeel, right? I guess they're BP Master Sync Pairs, but whatever, close enough. So this character, Sync Pair, whatever you want to call him, pretty crazy for being a free character in my opinion. The big thing with them is that they get really bulky, they can heal, and they have infinite speed buffs, which is insane. This character's speed support as a steel type is really insane. Unmatched for steel types, right? Unmatched. Look at the stats. 700 HP is not bad. 250 in both defenses is not bad either. 156 in the offenses doesn't really matter too much. 240 speed, not really a great speed tier, but stats are not where this guy shines. This is one of the places where this guy shines. Applies move gauge acceleration to the ally field of play, and raises the user's defense and special defense by 3. So this guy is getting +3 on the defenses, +6 if you use it twice, and move gauge acceleration for the entire field, which is great, right? Gauge acceleration is awesome. He's also got potions for healing. Doesn't need an explanation. Mini potions for healing for all allies. Also, doesn't need explaining, but still a good ability. Metal Claw for a 1 gauge spammable, which is good. And the passive skills. So obviously he has Steel Teamwork, or she, depends on what gender your main character is. Steel Teamwork powers up allies' moves by 10%, reduces damage by 10%, and it can be increased up to 20% power buffs and 14% damage reduction. Not the greatest, of course, but still, you know, it is a buff for allies, which is good. He gets Last Word. So in case you're about to win, you go down, but then Last Word activates. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Literally, you may win. Status immunity, which is a pretty solid ability, right? Being immune to status conditions is great. Sadly, still, susceptible to interference, but not being able to be immune to poison, burn, these type of things, freeze, great abilities. So you don't have to deal with having to potion up your status condition self. But this ability is insane. Dashing Team 5. Raises speed of all allies by 1 when using an attack move, or well, when the attack move is successful. So not only do you have gauge acceleration, as well as maxing your own defenses and being extremely bulky with your potions, you can also max ally speed no matter how much the enemies debuff it. Just all you need is time, which I find to be absolutely insane. So we're going to run him alongside the other main character, main character in Solgaleo here, which they're sharing both their theme skills, as well as Marnie for Steel Zone here. So this should be very fun to see. Obviously, we can't debuff Registeel, but that's not, or Regirock, but that's not a problem. This is going to be good. This is going to be a fun thing to see and try out, right? Because Steel types are generally extremely slow, but if you run this guy as your Steel type support, I did not mean to do that, but if you run this guy as your Steel type support, then you've got your gauge. You've got the Master Passive for Steel type power-ups, and you've got a good bulky unit, right? And this is a completely free character. So, I mean, all of this stuff, in my opinion, is really, really impressive to see from, like, a free unit. I would just say so. So there we go. Got the move gauge acceleration, which is already really good. Sadly, Marnie's only going to have +1 special attack, which is annoying for sure, but we're going to deal with it. And here we go. We're just going to start buffing our speed. Like, he's gonna drop our speed, which isn't a problem, but look, our gauge is already going pretty quickly. Pretty quick gauge, honestly. So that's good. This is good. We'll go ahead and go for that, and go for a Metal Claw, and sure, why not? So we'll get the Team Sharp entry here from Marnie so she can raise her, crit. And our gauge isn't going by too well so far, but we still got these Metal Claws to raise our speed so we can actually deal with this relatively well. So character is definitely great for mitigating the speed problem that a lot of Steel type characters have, right? Because Steel types and speed, they don't really go well together. They really don't. And we're doing a relatively decent job of buffing our speed enough to the point where we can mostly keep up. Obviously, we do want the gauge acceleration still, but like we can, for the most part, keep up with what this guy is putting up. Really, I'd say so. Of course, he uses Iron Defense there. That's fair. We can go ahead and use the trainer move now. Get ourselves that move gauge acceleration back, and then just have an onslaught of murdering Registeel, right? I think this character is an amazing, like, gauntlet support, especially. Just obviously due to the fact that he is doing gauge acceleration, buffing ally speed. He's gonna be great for, like, Moltres and whatnot for all of your allies. It's just such a good ability to have, honestly. Such an amazing ability. Let's go ahead and go for flinches, and we'll go ahead and go for another mini potion all here. And he's going to go for another iron defense, but it doesn't matter because of all the damage we're already doing to him. And there we go, we got our heal. We got healed up too. So we're doing good on that front as well. Okay, so now we'll wait and apply Steel Zone again with Marnie. There's the Rock Slide, which is a little bit annoying, of course, but we do have potions here to heal ourselves back up, so we'll be fine there. Again, max speed, move gauge acceleration. This is stuff that Sigma Suit Morty does, except Morty also has, like, Speeding Sun, so he's, you know, not better than Morty, but, like, I think you can make a fair comparison for the most part. And then you can just keep spamming Metal Claw and healing yourself up and everything, right? So, Steel types are slow, but this guy is making it so Steel types don't have to be as slow, right? Because running multiple Steel types together is just such a pain in the ass, right? It's such a pain. But with this Registeel, you mostly mitigate it. That's why I say he's mostly a Gauntlet support, because having what buffs he does is good, for sure, like for the stadium in certain situations, but for the most part, his buffs are only healing and speed. These abilities excel in a Legendary Gauntlet scenario, so you can run up in the stadium, sure, yeah, go for it. But Legendary Arena, that is where this dude excels. So we'll go ahead and take him into another battle. Let's take him into Moltres. Let's actually take him into Moltres because being able to buff speed against Moltres is such a good ability. Thank God he's not weak to fire, else I would be eating my words right about now. Sorry about that, but here we are with the Moltres run here. Obviously, this guy's great for Moltres because, you know, Moltres, you want to get speed buffs because it debuffs your speed by 2 at the start of the battle and debuffs it again once it uses Leer. So your team is pretty much in negative speed at this point, so you need a lot of good ways to get out of that hole. And I had to reset here, I accidentally used the wrong move with Emmett, but this is great because you get to buff your speed as much as you need to, just it takes a little bit of time, but you have that time for the most part. Like, you can build up against this Moltres Legendary Arena as long as you set up Weather, because at that point, Moltres isn't doing too much to you, right? It's debuffing your defense, which can be a little bit annoying, which is why I'm kind of upset this guy doesn't have team defense and special defense buffs, but honestly, I think that would, well, it may make him a little bit too good, but nah, not really. Not really. But yeah, we definitely see Registeel shine in this battle with the ability to heal up allies relatively well, as of course, having speed when both Emmett and Acerola are not, like, the greatest speed gods. Emmett's speed tier is fine, Acerola's is not, but, you know, combining that with Moltres being able to debuff speed, not really that great of a time, right? So Registeel helps to mitigate that for us, and we get to have really, really fun time here. Of course, Acerola's flinches are also really good. And as you can see later on in the battle, I don't end up getting NPR with the sand, so I had to end up dealing with Moltres and Sun, but thankfully because of our survivability with the main character here and our potions and whatnot, we were able to, you know, live out Moltres and end up getting a win in there, right? As well as, of course, the flinches. Can't forget those. Those were really, really good as well. So went down to bar 2 here. This is where things started to get a little hairy because we did get the sand here, but we did not get the NPR, so that's where things could get a little bit bad. But main character was able to survive so well. This character has such great tanking ability on its own that it's literally just worrying about your teammates is the problem, right? Like, of course, that's what you want in a support, but, like, sometimes you can even run into situations where your support character is more so doing buffs than they are, like, tanking, and that can end up being a real problem. But this character, being able to buff both gauge for your entire team as well as speed, and being able to tank hits really, really well, as well as providing healing for everybody, such a good ability, right? Such a good ability. I'm not gonna, like, pretend that not every character in the game, or not a lot of good supports in the game can do this, but I do think it's, you know, worth noting that these are just really, really good abilities, so. Especially for a free character, on top of having the master passive, right? So, as you can see here, all of these characters are getting a 10% power buff to their you know, attacks, and they're reducing damage received by 10% as well, which can really make the difference in a long shot for sure, right? Acerola does get burned here, but of course we have the mini potions in order to try and mitigate those burn damages we will take, and we've got the gauge acceleration here in order to, you know, give ourselves more gauge, and we end up getting the win here because of it, so it's just really, really good for us here. Acerola does go down, but we do have the main character surviving extremely well, and we've got Emmett, of course, surviving as well. We can go ahead and go for the mini potion all as well in order to try and heal up Emmett as much as we possibly can. and then we're kind of just stuck here, right? But again, we do have that last word in our, our back pocket, so just in case the main character were to go down, we could do a little bit of extra chip damage to Moltres, and potentially that could get us the win, maybe. But we never had to get to that point, so, thankfully, right? Thankfully. I do want to do a little bit of a setup where I look at the last word. I go ham on that rock slide, but I want to do a setup where I can look at like the last word and see how much it can really do, but I don't know. I'll think about that in a little bit, but yeah, that was the Moltres run there. So now let's hop into the stadium and see just how well we can do. So obviously, main character here not really built for the stadium, more so built for a legendary arena or a legendary gauntlet or just any event where you need a lot of survivability, which is great. But you can definitely take some attacks here pretty well in these. I do not want to go against Koga in these, stadium stages here, so let's go ahead and try it out, right? We'll go ahead and face Bruno because he is like a pretty hard hitting physical attacker, though he does have ground moves. Yeah, actually I don't want to take him against Bruno because I don't feel like taking the ground attacks, which can be a real big issue for us to deal with. So we'll go ahead and go against Karen here, right? Let me select some parameters, get a team built. We'll go ahead and face Karen here. Alright, here we are versus Bugweek Karen. I think this is a pretty decent place to showcase Registeel's tanking ability. Honestly, I mean, we got a lot of strength stuff, so I mean, what else is there to show? But anyway, let's go ahead, off type here, have a little bit of fun. Should be an easy win for the most part. I mean, we've got gauge acceleration here, so we shouldn't have any gauge issues. We got speed buff from both Registeel and Skyla, so that shouldn't be a problem either. And of course, we got good damage from Steven as well as Skyla's nuke. And the Registeel's goal is literally just to survive. As long as Registeel survives, we should be perfectly fine for the most part. So, yeah, shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad. So we do have potions, of course, as well. So this is going to definitely do a lot for us. Let's go ahead, attack the side there, and we'll go ahead and try and get Skyla's nuke in and hope we can get a decent victory in. So, there we go. Attack him with another Dragon Ascent, get the Sync nuke in, and we're tanking attacks relatively well for the most part. I mean, for having this many strength parameters, a lot of attacks to be tanking, so the fact we're tanking them well, pretty impressive for the most part. So that should KO. Yep, there we go. Okay. Pretty good healing. We're going to heal up ourselves again because we may get flinched. I tend to have pretty bad luck with getting flinched by, pretty bad luck with getting flinched, but we can heal ourselves back up just fine, so it's not really too big of a deal. So let's go ahead and go for this. We'll go ahead and go for an air cutter as well. Registeel surviving doesn't matter too much to us, but we do have a lot of heals, so we shouldn't be too big of a problem. Let's go ahead and hope we can land a confusion. We do land a flinch, which is basically just as good. Oh, and we land confusion. Okay. So Skyla's interference sync should activate here for the most part, right? Let's see. And yeah, fat, easy 22,000 damage. Not bad, not bad. And yeah, there's the victory, right? I mean, I'd say the main character tanked really well, especially because of the potion abilities that they have. It's so strong, right? All of these abilities, really, really strong stuff to have. So being able to tank this well, come on, just Dragon Ascent. Yeah, goodbye. Tanking's not too bad, right? Tanking's not too bad. Could be better, of course, but you would have to invest, power-ups or level 150, which is not a bad idea either, right? I think if this main character gets an EX, it's definitely a character I would probably EX myself, because this is good, right? These stats could definitely use an upgrade, and once they do get upgraded, you got a lot of healing, you got a lot of bulk, so you're pretty much going to be invincible for the most part, right? I do have Vigilance as its lucky skill, but I could definitely see having like Move Gauge Refresh 2 as a lucky skill. I could see Healthy Healing, where you can heal yourself with gradual heals. I'd see all these abilities being relatively useful, right? And of course, this is all 1 out of 5. No grid, right? If we look at the grid here, there are some other useful abilities like Flinch Immunity, Catalytic Acceleration. This is a decent ability, but honestly, you already have a lot of gauge acceleration anyway, so you don't really need it. Sync, Heal, Refill. You can restore your healing moves after using your Sync move. Sorry about that, but we do have the Mini Potion Master Healer here, so seems we do not have MPR, right? But we do have, of course, have the Move Gauge Refresh, Master Healer, as well as the Sync Refill, so that's a lot of good healing stuff there. here's the gradual healing. If you want to get the character to 2 out of 5, don't blame you. You can get the gradual healing here off of this, and that can be really good. NPR on the trainer move is really good as well. Revenge boost, even more gauge stuff, right? All of these are great abilities. Team Sharp Entry, very, very good for crit buffs. Metal Claw Flag Bearer, being able to buff ally attack and speed. These are great abilities, man. These are really, really good abilities. Sync move team speed up too, so if you want to have faster speed buffs, yeah. Friend Mend, Master Healer. If you give the main character here an EX, they're going to be really good. This is going to be a really good character. I actually have one voucher right now. I'm going to go ahead and 2 out of 5 of myself. But yeah, I'm going to end the video there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the main character and Registeel down in the comments below. I think they're a really, really strong sync pair, especially being free, right? So that's a lot of stuff to consider there as well. But yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. The Dana Showcase should be next. I'll actually wait and see how good I think Dana is before I give either one of these 2 vouchers, because I think it'll be one of them. It'll either be Dana or the main character. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you all later.